Okay, I'm going to show you guys how to do the moving platform. So this is just a cube that I made in Maya and that I imported into Unity. I've increased the scale factor so that it's large enough that I can see. At 1, it's rather small. Can't see it, so I just upped it to 10, and it's nice and visible. I've moved it into a place where it will make sense to have a moving platform, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an animation that will move the platform from here up to here and then go back down. So with my platform in the scene, I'm going to add some components. I need to take some off too. I need to take this animator off, so let's go ahead and remove that. Let's add a box collider so that we can collide with it. And let's add an FSM so it can move. Oops, it's the script component. We don't want that. We want the FSM playmaker component. All right. So let's add a state move to and move back. We also need to get the position and store that in a variable. So we're going to do that on the first state. We'll call that init, short for initialize. Let's get pause, get position. We'll store it in a vector, which is x, y, and z right here. Platform initial position. We're going to need to get some other things too. So we're going to need, actually wait, no, that's for the parenter. This is just for moving it. Okay, so then we need to move it from the initial position plus how many ever units up in y it is to the top of this here. So we want it to come up to 4.84, and we're starting at 0.35. So let's grab our iTween. Oh, so all you do is, so we're going up to 4.84, and let's minus the initial value out. So we want to move it up by 4.49 units. So let's get a iTween move to. Actually, let's do a move by. That looks like it might be a little less math for us. So I'm going to use the owner. The vector we want to move by is not specified, so let's do a new variable. We'll say this is the move by vector. Go to this variable, move by. Let's show it in the inspector so we can change how much we're moving it by in the inspector. Nice and handy. Let's take a look at our, we want to move it by 4.49 in y. No look at. Time, let's do, let's move it over 3 seconds. The ease type, we want to ease it in and out. I think linear ease in and out is fine. Ease in, out. Where's linear at? Oh, there's linear, so we're already at linear. We don't want that. Let's do quint. And finish event. Let's make a new event for that. Let's do move back. And an event for this to go back to the start. And for this one, we want a move to. So we want to move back to the platform initial position. So this one, itween move to. And the vector position is platform initial position. Time of, did I say 3 or is it 4? Yes, 3. 3, and we are doing quint, ease in out quint. No look at, no move to path, and the finish event will be back to start. All right. Okay. Did it get stuck? It did. I'm going to break off my scene view into another view here so I can see what's going on right at play. Goes up. Not sending an event. Ah, there's no finish event. So it's not sending the move back. So finish event is move back. Okay. Let's see if I can get on it. Really need to fix that camera too. Okay, you can stand on it. Can move up, but gets some kind of interesting actions there. Can't really move on it very cleanly. It'll carry me up, but if I start trying to walk, it like wants to throw me in the air. So let's do some parenting here. So on the platform, with that selected, let's create an empty underneath it. Create an let's name this parent controller. That's what it's doing, is controlling the parenting. Let's copy, because we're going to make a trigger on the parent controller to control when to parent and unparent the player. So let's copy this box collider. Right click on the transform up here and say paste component as new. There we go, got a box collider. Is trigger, edit collider, and drag the top face here up a bit so that we can collide with the volume. Now, with the parent controller selected, we're going to add another FSM. Call it parent controller FSM, which makes me wonder, did I name the platforms mover? No. Platform movement FSM. There we go. Okay. So on initialize, we need to have some initial information. I know that we need to know what it is we're parenting and what is it we're parenting to. So let's find the player. Let's find game object and get the parent. We want to find with tag player and store it in a new variable called player. We want to get the parent of the parent controller, which is the platform, because we want to parent it to the platform. And we want to store that in a new variable as platform. Okay, let's add a transition of finished, add a new state, and we'll call this the let's see here, on trigger enter, we're going to, yeah, so this is basically a listen. We want to send the event of when, okay, so when the trigger is entered by the player, we want to send an event. That event will be parent to platform. Make a state for that. Add the transition parent to platform. Go to the parent. We want to also put a trigger event on this to be the last thing executed. So on trigger exit, but we want to set the parent first. Right, we want to set the parent of specify the game object. Click this 2 lines right here to get a variable option. We want to set the parent of the player to the platform. And then when the trigger is exited by the player, we want to unparent it. So let's add an event for unparent. That's the event we're going to send. Add the transition. Add a state for unparent. Now let's copy this. Actually, let's not copy that. Let's just make a new one. If you double click on that, that will add it. So we want to specify the game object. We want to set the parent of the player to nothing, and that will unparent it from everything. That will unparent the player from everything. And then let's add the finish transition and go back to the listen. So what will happen is when the player gets inside this box right here that's a little bit taller than the platform, the player will get parented under the platform and get moved along with the platform. When the player leaves this box, the player will be freed from the platform and be free to roam around the world and not be carried along with it. So let's see how this works. Yep. Oh, he's still getting the falling thing going on there. Picking up some momentum. Let's see, is that a what's his ground check distance? Is at 0.3? Let's shorten that up a bit to say 0.1. Oh, that makes it worse. Let's increase that. Oh, he still does that. How annoying. Okay, I'm gonna move the platform so it goes up in Y. Let's have it go all the way over to here too, which is negative 7.9. So negative 7.9 minus 4.4 negative 12. Actually, no, we want to actually add the 4, so we'll say we'll go over an x by 4.14. We'll just go over by x and 4. See what the platform does. That's not right. Oh, I was looking at z. That's silly. So 9, -5. So we want to go in the negative direction by 14. Just round that out. that getting all the way up there? No, it's not, because that's taller than that is. So you see how easy it is to edit the values of how high the platform goes and how far it goes, instead of having to work everything in Playmaker. That makes iteration very quick. Okay, so 6.6. Okay, so y of 6.3. Oops. Because now it's actually starting from here, so I have to be careful about where it's starting. All right. Let's see how this parents. Missed it. Whoa, he slides right off. That is annoying. What's going on here? Okay, so I made a bit of a mistake. I forgot to, on the listen, on trigger enter, I forgot to send the event parent to platform, so that's why he wasn't going anywhere. So let's go ahead and try it now. That, and I just missed the boat. And away he goes. All right, so that gives you guys 3 things you can do with triggers. You can have open chests, you can turn on lights, and you can get on moving platforms. So I hope to see at least those three things in your files. We're also going to build these. I'll go over that in class. So get at least 3 things going, and feel free to do more. That will only help you later. Doing the minimum isn't enough to get a job in the industry. So if your goal is to be a professional in the games industry, do more.